bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Oh, my Lord. You know, pro wrestling is incredibly exciting. We are in just an absolute peak of this industry. But I don't know if I've seen a week in and out of the ring quite like this one. This is amazing, and we're going to break it all down for you here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM. You could also be listening to us on the Odyssey app, and if you haven't downloaded that app, it's a terrific app, AUDACY. Get it on your phone. You can listen to our show and many other shows on that app. You wouldn't believe it. It's a ton of stuff, so check that out. And we are also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. YouTube is the Mark Hoke Show. We'd certainly appreciate you subscribing and helping us out there. That would be fantastic. And check out some of there's a ton of stuff on there, so take a look. But wow. We had 3 pay-per-views so far this week in premium live events, whatever you want to call them. A 4th one coming up, plus 2 other shows that happened this week. I mean, this is ridiculous. And not to mention a massive amount of news outside of the ring. One story involving us, and we're going to try and get through all of it today. I don't know how we're going to do it. Hour 2, we're going to be joined by the True Heel Heat podcasts, and he's also on Fightful.com, Sportskeeda. Just the man's everywhere. I mean, it's unbelievable how many places he is. And we're going to be welcoming in good friend SP3 is going to be joining us. And if you haven't heard SP3, well, brace yourself, kids, because he's going to wake you up. That's for sure. I'm excited to finally get to talk to him. I've seen him so many times, and we're thrilled to have him joining us on the show. We're also going to be giving away tickets today, again, to Wrestle Connects. That is taking place on Saturday, September 14th. It's only a couple of weeks away, down at the Tuscany Suites and Casino. Superstars like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Maria Kanellis, D'Lo Brown, Brian Cage, Kenny King, Lisa Maria, known as Victoria Antara, who, by the way, congratulations to her as she has signed a Legends deal with WWE. So way to go. I mean, this is going to be an awesome show, and you're going to want to check it out. But we're going to give away tickets sometime in this hour. I'm going to give you the phone number, so be ready when I tell you to call. 702-257-5396. 702-257-5396 is the number to call when I tell you to. And we'll be giving away those Wrestle Connects tickets. 4 tickets for you. So you can bring all your friends and check it out. Wrestling memorabilia and all these great stars of the past and present. It's going to be a great time. So hopefully get to see you down there, and I'll be there too. So should be an awesome day. September 14th, 10 to 5, down at the Tuscany Suites and Casino right here in Las Vegas. Well, speaking of Las Vegas, oh boy, we got pulled into the news. And that's where we're going to kick it off today. So our friends over at WrestleVotes broke news on Twitter. The X Machine, baby. And here was the tweet that got everybody rolling earlier this week. That was on the 27th. So that would have been on, sorry, give me 1 second. Flip the calendar. They were on Tuesday. According to a source, there was an all-employee meeting today at WWE HQ in Stamford, hosted by Mark Shapiro. He's from one of the executives at TKO. I'm told the biggest news to come out of the meeting is that the WWE Performance Center will be moving to Las Vegas in the near future. Yeah. The Performance Center that's currently down in Orlando, coming here. So our good friend over at Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp, followed up, made a couple of calls and said, no, here's the deal. Here's the deal. No, that is not happening. And they were just talking about how Las Vegas is a great destination place. We're not, they're not moving anything there. But it really shook everybody up at WWE. But then WrestleVotes checked back with their source. And WrestleVotes is sticking by their story. They said this is not an overnight thing. It's not happening today, but it's going to happen. Now, Sean doesn't get things wrong. And I'm not saying he's wrong, but I took time to email WWE and I checked with some people here in Las Vegas. I'm still working on a few things. No response from WWE. Just kind of weird. No response to an inquiry that I made about one of the facilities nearby. As for those that do not know, are the UFC facilities are literally one block down from across 215 from where we are. So, I'm a hop, skip, and a jump away. And I'm doing research. I have done more research about the land ownerships and everything else. But until I get this last email, a response to this last email, all I'm going to say is this. There's a lot of land over there. There's a lot of land that UFC and TKO own. And there's a big plot right over off of Rainbow. Among other things. I'm not going to tip my hand yet because I want to finish this all out. Plus, I had a little birdie talking to me. And I'm going to say this. I believe WrestleVotes. This only makes sense. I talked about this and I put a little video up of a couple times where it briefly mentioned it. But I really do believe that TKO is going to consolidate their headquarters. There's no reason for WWE to be in Stamford anymore. The issue they're going to have with their HQ out there is that they've got a fairly long lease. It's about a 16-year lease with 5-year extensions on it. The leases can be broken, as we all know. So I got to tell you, they want to get it out here. I mean, if you had a base in Stamford and a choice between Stamford, Connecticut, mind you, super liberal, super high taxes, bringing it out to Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. Where would you want to be? There's nothing holding WWE to Stamford anymore. The McMahons don't own it. I think WrestleVotes is right. So believe what you will, and we will try and get a little more information. Like I said, I'm working on some more information on this story, but this was a big one. And, a lot of people were very shocked in WWE about the possibility of the Performance Center coming out here. But honestly, I think they're going to move the whole shebang. I really do. A lot of reasons. But we'll talk about it more in the future. But a huge story here in Las Vegas regarding World Wrestling Entertainment. How about we get to that All In? Because we had All In, AEW All In this week, TNA Emergence on Friday night, Bash in Berlin from WWE on Saturday. We also had, by the way, NWA 76 and New Japan Capital Collision. Plus, today is NXT No Mercy. Good Lord, are you kidding me? It's a lot. It's a lot. But AEW All In, massive card in Wembley Stadium. Didn't have the attendance it did last year. They, according to WrestleTalk, got about 53,000 in there. Still pretty good draw. I mean, you can't complain too much about having 53,000 people at your event. You know, that's solid. I think most people would take that. But what a great night it was. Terrific matches up and down this card. Some wild ones in the beginning, but the kickoff show, 16-man tag match, a lot of fun there. Just, look, everybody getting their AEW bonuses on that one. Will Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii knocked off Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway, and boy, did they ever. So Willow gets to name the stipulation of the match at All Out between her and Chris for that CMLL Women's Championship. Had a 10-man tag match, so the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes got on there, and Sammy Guevara. And then we had a pretty wild one for the AEW Trios Championship, as Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club walk out of there with the titles. Apparently, it was supposed to be Death Triangle, but of course, a lot of controversy surrounding the Lucha Dragons, as supposedly they've been talking to WWE and maybe headed there. So they got pulled off the card. So it goes to Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club as Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta team with Pac to win the Trios Championship. And Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, the Patriarchy, lose those titles. Killswitch didn't seem too happy about it. That played into things later on in the day. Mariah May walks out of Wembley with the AEW Women's Championship, and that woman is nuts. Tony Storm, eccentric crazy. Mariah May, scary ex-girlfriend crazy. Yikes. But Mariah May, your new AEW Women's Champion. Hook knocks off Chris Jericho. He takes back the FTW Championship. Makes Papa proud, and Papa got in the match. Taz beating some people up. So Taz steps away from the booth and helps his son out a little bit. The Young Bucks hold on to the AEW World Tag Team Championships as they beat FTR and the Acclaimed. And then this intriguing match. And by the way, I do want to mention Jamie Hayter also on the pre-show made her come back. She got in a little confrontation with Saraya. So Jamie Hayter is back, the former AEW Women's Champion. Oh, she looked good too. And she wrestled on Dynamite this week, I believe. So look out. Jamie Hayter is starting to clear the injury bench at AEW. But Christian Cage wins the Casino Gauntlet match. And for anybody who was listening to the show last week, well, our theory on Hangman Page walking out of All In with the World Championship, yeah, that didn't happen. He did get involved in the main event. But Christian Cage, with the help of Killswitch, who looked like he was going to turn on our buddy Christian, even came out to Luchasaurus on the big old screen, takes it, and Christian Cage will get a World Championship match. And later on in the show, I'm going to float a little theory how that's going to all work out. But Christian Cage wins the Casino Gauntlet match. But that match saw the debuts of Ricochet. So Ricochet is now in the game, as well as Nigel McGuinness, who steps out after all this time from behind the announcer's table, and he looked great. Terrific shape, and just walked right down to the ring with Okada waiting for him, debatably the best wrestler in the world, and just went right at him. It was amazing. You guys know, if you listen to the show, I am a big Nigel McGuinness fan. and I could not be happier for him. But that was pretty interesting. By the way, in the tag match, also showing up, the grizzled young veterans are now in AEW, and they beat up the Outrunners on Friday night. I love the Outrunners, by the way. Got to dig an 80s tag team. Will Ospreay knocks off MJF. A little help from Daniel Garcia. A little revenge there for him. But Will Ospreay regains the AEW International Championship. It's not the American Championship anymore. MJF was so upset he's supposedly renounced his American citizenship. Don't know about that, but Ospreay back on top. Mercedes Moné knocks off Dr. Britt Baker DMD. So Mercedes retains the AEW TBS Championship. Jack Perry slams the coffin on Darby Allin. This one got a little rough. And they actually shortened this matchup, apparently, because they were running a little long on time. But Jack Perry holds the AEW TNT title. So Darby Allin, who has a world title shot at AEW Grand Slam coming up late September, well, Jack Perry pretty much cleaned his clock. So a nice win for Jack Perry. So the scapegoat keeps the TNT title. And if you saw on Dynamite this week, he has challenged Bryan Danielson. He will be taking him on at AEW All Out this next Saturday. So get ready for that one. And I may have tipped that off, but Bryan Danielson did win the AEW World Championship. He defeats Swerve Strickland, a little bit of a distraction from Hangman Adam Page during the match. But Bryan Danielson, with family around, Swerve taunting the kids, the whole deal. But it was not enough, but a terrific match. And Bryan Danielson, hey, who said a few months ago when asking the question who should walk out of AEW All In with the world title, said Bryan Danielson. I had some stuff wrong, but I got this one right. So Bryan Danielson, who said that he will retire as a full-time wrestler when he loses this championship. Well, there it is. And Bryan Danielson, your new AEW World Champion, a big win for him. And this is going to be fun because now the pursuit of Danielson begins. Swerve and Hangman Adam Page are going to be in a cage match at All Out on Saturday. So that should be a wild one. As we said, Danielson's going to be taking on Jack Perry. But what a wild pursuit this will be. Who's going to be the one to knock Danielson off? Who gets the rub? Some people in AEW are saying it should be Darby Allin. No, I don't want Darby. No, not yet. Come on. I want something cool to happen, and nothing against Darby. I love Darby. I've interviewed Darby. He's one of the coolest guys around. Got a better idea. And we're going to talk about it later on in the show. But we need to step back and take a break. Before we do, though, I want to remind everybody, you know what? If you've been listening to me, there were some opportunities to make a little cash on betonline.ag this week, betting on AEW All In. And you can still get on there. All you got to do, go to markhokeshow.com, hop on the website, and click on our link. We're on the front page of the sponsor page, and you can get a 50% sign-up bonus up to $1,000. So that means they'll match you 50% up to $1,000. So if you put $1,000 in your account right off the bat, you get $500. That's not bad. Use promo code BOL1000, but I need you to go to our site and click on the link. But it's betonline.ag. They've actually got betting odds up right now. Who is going to be John Cena's WrestleMania opponent? And I think there's money to be made there right now because Gunther is a plus 500. He is not the favorite. I might be willing to take a shot on that, but please check it out. It's betonline.ag. You can bet on just about anything. You got odds for snooker, volleyball, politics, the whole thing. It's amazing. Fun site. So go check it out. But once again, you got to go to our site first and click on our links so we get credit for it at markhokeshow.com. Just click on the betonline.ag links. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, TNA Emergence, WWE Bash in Berlin on Friday at night and Saturday morning. What happened? Where do we go? Pretty cool stuff. And don't forget, at some point, we're going to be giving away those Wrestle Connects tickets. So stick around, everybody, on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Come on, let's talk some more pro wrestling here on the Mark Hoke Show. On KDAWN, the Odyssey app, and of course also streaming out there on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And we'd love to get your comments. Got questions, thoughts about everything that happened this week? Love to hear them. It's always fun to interact with everybody, so hop into the chat box and fire away. We would certainly appreciate it. Friday night, TNA Emergence. Actually, a somewhat uneventful card, to be honest with you, but a lot of good wrestling going on. But we had Hammerstone on the show as he was in that X Division Ultimate X match. But he does not walk away with the title. That honor goes to the Rascals, Zachary Wentz. Of course, mostly known for being in the tag team with the Rascals. But this time, he gets to shine as a singles wrestler, and he knocks off a field with Mike Bailey, the champ, Hammerstone, Jason Hotch, Laredo Kid, and Riley Osborne from NXT. And he's the new TNA X Division champion. One interesting thing about this is he's wrestling his former fellow rascal, now turned rival, Wes Lee, at NXT No Mercy today. That's kind of weird. I mean, because this is a kind of a no-winner for both these guys. I mean, just imagine if, especially if Wentz loses this, he just won this title. He just won it. And he comes back and loses to Wes Lee. What does that do to the TNA X Division title? That's not good. If Wes Lee loses, well, and he just lost to the TNA guy. They'd have been, look, it's TNA's title to book. But this should have been, I think, coordinated a little bit better. I don't know. But this seems like there's a real booking quandary, shall we say. But congratulations to Zachary Wentz. Well-deserved guy. Very talented and picking up a X Division title. And then ABC, our good friend Chris Bay and Ace Austin. We've had both of them on the show. Ace, Aces, we had Chris Bay on SportsX Radio, but they hold on to the tag titles. Some other notables on there. Steve Macklin beat Eric Young, their first ever matchup. Jordan Grace and Spitfire beat Ash by Elegance, and the Militia and Alicia Edwards took a nasty, nasty hit in that match. And she is apparently in concussion protocol, as is PCO, who wrestled Shira. So Matt Cardona couldn't go. So 2 TNA wrestlers in concussion protocol after this one. The System beats Joe Henry, Mike Santana, and the Hardys. Did a really cool open with the Hardys and Henry, though. Might want to check that out. And Nick Nemeth knocks off Josh Alexander in that 60-minute Iron Man match. 3 falls to 2. Nemeth went up 2, and then Josh ran off 2 real quick ones before Nick got him later on. And Nemeth holds on, and he is the TNA World Champion. So congrats to Nick, and congrats to everybody on TNA. Really nice card at TNA Emergence. And chat box is fired off. Good to see that. Biotic Scoop says Mark. Scoop. Good to see you, buddy. One of the best wrestling photographers out there. Jesse Hyde, Chaos is coming to AEW when Shane McMahon arrives to AEW. Talking about that in the next segment. For sure. And probably later on in hour number 2. So that was TNA Emergence. And then yesterday, a pretty well wrestled card. Only one title change happened here at Bash in Berlin. But I don't know, this is the Friendship Day. Bash at Berlin, and everybody's kumbaya over there. What the heck? And we want people turning on each other and being mean and nasty, and everybody's shaking hands after these matches are over. Come on. I don't know. But here's what happened. So Cody Rhodes knocks off Kevin Owens, and Kevin's getting yelled at by Wade Barrett. Why aren't you doing the apron power bomb? Kevin was holding back against Cody. Cody beats him. They shake hands and walk out arm in arm. So hugs and kisses from Cody and Kevin. I want my Kevin Owens back. I want my Kevin Steen back. Enough. I want my Kevin Owens as a champion again. This sucks. Love the guy. Come on, man. Let him roll. He's so much better as a heel. No. But Cody is still the champion. So I guess we get more Cody versus the Bloodline coming up. Yay. Cody did a nice job at the press conference, though. They need to make him the PR guy. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill apparently Jade's got some things squared up, and they are back as the women's tag team champions. They get a nice clean win over the Unholy Union. Not a bad match, but we have once again new women's tag team champions. That seems to be the belt that they like to pass around in Europe. I don't know. But congratulations to Bianca and Jade. CM Punk beats Drew McIntyre in that strap match. This was better. Much better than the last match. Much better. Mean, vicious, nasty. People beating each other up, whipping each other. It was great. The lights were kind of weird. I mean, for those that don't know how the strap match works, each person is tied to the end of it. This was a 13-foot strap. And you have to go around. You got to tap all four corners to consecutively to win the match. So if the other person interrupts you from doing that by doing something physical, you're done. There was a weird spot where like Punk was on McIntyre's shoulders as McIntyre was touching the turnbuckles. Punk was touching the turnbuckles. I wasn't so sure about that, but otherwise, this was good. Punk decimated McIntyre at the end. He got the little friendship bracelet back. I hope we're done with the friendship bracelet. But pretty well done match. I enjoyed it. And, that's what you're supposed to do. It's a strap match. You don't like each other. There you go. Then we had a fun match, and I was really excited about this one. The Terror Twins, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley knock off the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. A lot of interference from Judgment Day. Wasn't good enough. As Liv and Damian gets the first measure of revenge. I'm sure this is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but a nice win for them. And it was a fun match. A little chaotic there. Trying to hold off three other people along with a tag team isn't the easiest thing to do, but Rhea and Damian did a nice job. Good match there. And, those mixed tag team matches can be a real mess sometimes, but they did a great job. So congratulations on that one. And then Gunther successfully defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton. Very physical match. This is more of an old school match, man. Beating each other up, slower paced, very physical, what you would expect from Gunther. And one thing that it struck me about this is, we have so many matches where there's so many high spots and crazy stuff going on. This was just bam, 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 bam. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to think what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to hurt you some more. A lot of fun. And it's good to see that style of wrestling coming back. And Gunther is just a god. He is a wrestling god. One of the first times that I really got to see Gunther as a top match for him was that series with Ilya Dragunov. And he has done nothing but impress me since. He is a juggernaut. That is how he wrestles in the ring. Sorry, Jordan Grace, don't mean to take it from you, but that is how he wrestles. You just hit him and he keeps coming and coming and coming at you. Love the guy. Well, they shook hands at the end too. Okay, we're doing the pass the torch thing, but I don't want Randy to pass the torch. What is with ever since Randy and Kevin got with Cody, they got soft. Just like the, Enzo and Big Cass back in the day said, SAWFT, soft. I want my Viper back too. God, I feel like this is like a girl that you date that, it was a nice girl and she meets the scumbag guy and all of a sudden she leaves you and she's acting like a psychopath. Like, where's the girl I used to know? Where's my Randy? Where's my Kevin? I get it, but come on, man. I hope there's a plot line where these two guys wake the hell up. Enough's enough. Please. in the chat box, by a scoop, Randy putting Gunther over with the respect handshake was big. Yes, I would. Once again, I get it. I get it. You are saying you are the future, sir. But it's not Randy Orton. Do you think that the old Randy Orton, after he lost a match, would be like, okay, I respect you, Gunther? No! Go on. Next day, he's got triple RKO him. He's not shaking his hand. Come on. By scoop, I'll say the lights were for TV, I think. Yeah, you might be right on that. Jesse Hyde, WWE connected the history of the original and new World Heavyweight Championship. I didn't see that. It's merged history of the big gold belt. Huh. Take a look at that. I'll have to check that out online. Did not see that they had done that, but interesting. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I mean, I need some thought on that. Definitely need some thought. But overall, very well wrestled show at Bash in Berlin. Great crowd in Germany. And apparently, that was the new record gate. God, I didn't get to look what they charged them. How much you think they charged them over there for that? Because it was over $400 a ticket in France. I guess they must have hit him for $5 in Germany. Oh, good Lord. WWE is just cleaning up over there. Oh, the money. God bless them. You can do it. Well, but once again, hey, when are we coming back? I don't know. 4 or 5 years. Better pay up. Good call. Worked well. All right. We're going to take a break. But the first thing that we need to do is we got to give away those tickets. So our caller number 9, our caller number 9 is going to win 4 tickets to WrestleConnects on September 14th at the Tuscany Hotel and Casino. 4 tickets for you. Call 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-5396. And you're going to win those WrestleConnects tickets. So fire it up, guys. And you could be headed to WrestleConnects to meet people like Ted DiBiase and Greg the Hammer Valentine and so many more. So hit those phones. We'll be right back.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this fall. Don't rake or blow leaves into the street. Secure yard waste in bags. Safely dispose of household chemicals. Clean up vehicle leaks and spills. Apply fertilizers and pesticides sparingly. And don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom, and remember only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, and we are back on The Mark Hoke Show. Thanks for being with us. We greatly appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing this show, and I've met so many terrific fans and people in the industry. It has been quite enjoyable, and we just want to keep this rolling and rolling. So do me a favor, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and at X. X is Mark Hoke Show, and Facebook and YouTube is The Mark Hoke Show. And of course, go to that website, markhokeshow.com. Podcasts available, markhokeshow.podbean.com. So a lot of other little news. And by the way, don't forget, coming up in the next hour, we're very excited. SP3 from the True Heel Heat podcast. And you've probably seen him on just about every wrestling media outlet on the planet. Guys everywhere. It's going to be joining us. So that should be a lot of fun. By the way, you want to say hi to Coach Rosie out there. Good to see you, sir. Of course, check out ad-free shows, some terrific podcasts on there. And by the way, I do see Jesse Hyde. That's one thing we're going to bring up here, too, in this segment about the rise and fall of Vince McMahon on Netflix. WWE not in on that. Let's see. Let me just read it. Can't wait for rise and fall of Vince McMahon on Netflix. Even now, WWE is no longer on the project, and it airs before WWE Raw on Netflix. And if Rock shows up on Raw on Netflix, he says, Vince, funny. That is going to be an interesting documentary, though. It's Bill Simmons. Of course, you guys remember Bill. He's done some terrific media work. Is in on that thing. As well as, and bear with me, because I was going to do that a little bit later in the segment. Didn't have it pulled up, but give me one moment, and I'll get that right now. But yeah, that's being released on September 25th. And Chris Smith, the executive producer of Tiger King, is also in on that too. So that's going to be a 6-part series. Should be pretty interesting. Take a look at that. Want to mention the passing of Sid Udy, otherwise known as Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. Well, I'll tell you, one guy, if there was a guy born to be a professional wrestler, it was him. And so much outpouring of love for the guy. Of course, multi-time world champion in both WWE and WCW. And want to wish all of his friends and family the best. Passed away from cancer, had lymphoma. And my grandmother went through that. So I feel for the big man. That's a tough fight. But we wish them all the best. And we lost a good one there. Lost a good one. Let's see. And then going through some of the stuff, I'm going to get some of the bad news out of the way too. Nikki Garcia, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but she is involved and her husband with a domestic dispute issue. And this was really bad. Apparently had a big brouhaha with her husband this week. I believe that was on Friday. Of course, her husband, Artem Chigvintsev, they met on Dancing with the Stars. But apparently he actually was the one that called the police. Nikki sustained some serious injuries. And he was arrested. And we're going to find out tomorrow here in Vegas how she is, because she is supposed to be here for the Unfinished Beef. That's the competition between Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi over at the Luxor tomorrow. So we'll find out if she's going to be here, but pretty, from what we've heard on these reports, pretty bad. So we hope Nikki's okay. And of course, for those that don't know who Nikki is, she is was known as Nikki Bella, one of the Bella twins. So hope she's doing all right. Other weird stuff. Gable Steveson was cut from the Buffalo Bills. They may put him on the practice squad, but he is, at least for the moment, not a member of the Bills anymore. Brought him in because he's a beast, but didn't quite make it. We also had a couple other cards. NWA, we've got a new world champion in the NWA. And once again, I went out of order and I do apologize. Oh, let me come back. Tom Latimer, my apologies. Tom Latimer wins the NWA title. So congratulations to him as he knocks off EC3. New Japan Capital Collision also took place this week. Mercedes Moné successfully defended her Strong Women's Championship. Gabe Kidd beat Leo Rush out there. But one I want to mention, local guy, Matt Vandegrift, who got on with their training program. And Matt, a ton of work here with Future Stars of Wrestling. He's been winning matches out there, and Matt's really good. If you haven't seen Matt, just sensational guy. And, we want to wish Matt all the best as he keeps moving up the rolls in New Japan. Also, want to mention real quick about what happened with Jon Moxley on Dynamite this week. And we'll talk with SB3 about that. But he came out, no wild thing, got in the ring with Tony Schiavone and said, "This isn't your company anymore." And Marina Shafir ended up being with him. They're beating people up. And a lot of people are speculating, is this the lead in to Shane McMahon? Is he behind this? Fascinating stuff, but Mox not doing the wild thing. No Blackpool Combat Club, just came out dressed in black, ready to roll. So who knows what's going on there? But Shane McMahon, is he a shadow figure in this whole thing? I don't know. Also, WWE, well, the governor of California, or Pennsylvania, did not make WWE very happy. As he said, WrestleMania 42 was going to be in Philadelphia. WWE very much denying the reports, and apparently Josh Shapiro, being the brilliant man that he is, just used the term WrestleMania for wrestling events. But that didn't help. So good job. Oh man, that's all they needed after this whole Performance Center thing pops up, is to say, "Hey, by the way, WrestleMania is coming back to Philadelphia," after it was just there. Yeah, good luck. I'm after everything that they said, that is not happening. That is not happening. And also announced WWE Raw starts on Netflix on January 6th. So get ready for that. By the way, we have a great contest going on our website and YouTube channel. If you go on, it's from Power Play Collectibles. You just have to go through our YouTube video descriptions, find the 3 Power Play passwords, and you can win an autographed photo of a pro wrestling superstar. Power Play was kind enough to give those to us. And I'm going to extend the one from this week one more day. I want to get a few more entries in there. So go in there real quick, find those Power Play passwords, go on the website, send us a message with those and your YouTube username, because you got to be subscribed. And if you're drawn, you're going to win an autographed picture. And this week's is Leo Rush. And there'll be more coming. So get subscribed. And every week for a while, we're going to be giving away an autographed picture of whomever. I got a bunch. I'm not telling you who all I got, but I got some good ones. So thanks to Power Play Sports Collectibles for that. All right, hour number 2 coming up as we get ready. SP3 joining us here on the Mark Hoke Show. Should be a great time, so stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more of the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment when we return on the Mark Hoke Show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1, and literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this summer. Wash your vehicle at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Collect grass clippings and put them in the trash. And secure and pack out trash when recreating. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app, and never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
6 Hamas hostages found dead. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The Israeli Defense Force says they found those hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th inside a tunnel in Gaza that includes the remains of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, the 4th American hostage believed to have been killed by Hamas. As Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
6 of the Israeli hostages that were being held by Hamas were killed by the group. According to the IDF, their bodies were recovered this weekend. It's a heartbreaking development for the Israeli people who have waited 331 days for them to come home. 3 of the hostages were set to be released from Gaza during the first humanitarian exchange once a ceasefire was implemented, I'm told. Among them, American citizen Hirsch Goldberg Poland. His story grabbed the attention of the world. The 23-year-old was attending a music festival when the October 7th attack began.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a video message to his country calling this a difficult day.
The fact that Hamas is continuing to perpetuate atrocities like those it carried out on October 7th requires us to do everything so that it will be unable to perpetuate these atrocities again.
Prime Minister Netanyahu saying Hamas will pay the price for their actions. He also called out Hamas for not coming to the negotiating table to reach a deal for a ceasefire and the release of the remaining hostages, saying whomever murders hostages does not want a deal. President Biden also reacting to the news of Goldberg Poland's death, saying he is both devastated and outraged, adding Hamas will pay for its crimes. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suing North Carolina state officials to get his name off the ballot before November. State's election board denying his request, claiming they'd have to reprint nearly 2 million ballots. Kennedy's lawsuit claims the state violated his speech and state election laws. He suspended his third-party campaign last week to join former President Trump's transition team. America is listening to Fox News.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
It's time to take the quiz.
5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
History, pop culture, science, sports, civics. How much do you know? Let's find out.
Who was the first person to walk on the moon?
Jackson or something?
Neil Armstrong.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course, listen to the quiz right now at thequiz.fox.
This is Carson Daly. I want to say a special thank you to all of you for joining us for I'm Listening. Our goal is to open minds and hearts to more mental health conversations because talk saves lives. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. We are very excited to have you with us on what has been an incredible week of pro wrestling, and it ain't over yet. No siree, Bob. A lot going on as we get ready for NXT No Mercy tonight. AEW All Out coming up next Saturday. But so much going on has been absolutely ridiculous. And I am very excited that I get to break up. You know, you got to listen to me for a good hour. And now I'm going to bring in one of the coolest guys in pro wrestling media. And I am thrilled that I finally got around to ask him to come on the show. Of course, he's the creator of the True Heel Heat podcast. You can see him on Fightful Overbooked, Sportskeeda, WrestleTalk. This man is everywhere. And when he's on a show, you know it because he is absolutely amazing. Let's get him in here right now. Welcome in SP3 in the house. What's going on, my friend?
I am doing very, very well. As someone who is known for his intros, I got to give you a lot of credit. You listed all the places that I'm at. Some people forget a couple of stuff, but you do your research. So I appreciate you for having me on here today on the #1 pro wrestling show in Las Vegas. And I'm happy to talk some wrestling with you today, man. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I do my best, SP. I really do. I try. I don't like making mistakes. I still do it though, because I'm human, but it's all good.
Of course.
Yeah. So how you been, man? It's I've seen your work all over the place. I've never gotten to talk to you. This is the first time we got to chat. So what's happening with you?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm on my summer long, which is going into the fall excursion in the UK. So it is about 5 p.m. for me here, but always a good time. It's nice for my my kids. My daughter will probably do a run-in as we're talking because she's known for doing that over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. But yes, I've been very busy with all the pro wrestling like you just discussed before having me on here. It's been a busy week. I was in Wembley Stadium around this time last Sunday for All in London. What a show that was. Then I've done pretty much a show every day this week, from talking about All In on the review to talking about WWE Bash in Berlin and NXT No Mercy. I did a previews for TNA Emergence and NJPW Capital Collision. Every professional wrestling company has had a show in the past 7 days, a major show. So yes, you are absolutely right when you say it is a busy week of pro wrestling and it just doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't. Well, give us the live perspective on what was going on at AEW All In, because I know you shot a really cool video too, where you were right behind Bryan Danielson's family, which was amazing. But give us for those of us that weren't there, what was the atmosphere like in London? And that week just looked like it was incredible for everybody that was there.
Yeah, I mean, just the atmosphere was like really excitement as they draw near, in London, you started feeling more and more people getting excited about the show. Like the kind of the buzz wasn't the same as like last year, like weeks ahead, where it was this historic event last year, the first time that they ran Wembley Stadium and 80,000 in attendance. But as it drew near, seeing that, it's a company that's not WWE going to have 50,000 in Wembley Stadium, it's still a big deal. And what was kind of the overall kind of like thought process to a lot of the fans going to the event and a lot of the fans that I talked to is that this year's card for All In was much better built than last year's card, in that this year's card, they really built it like it was their biggest show of the year, like their big season finale for like the fans of WWE who feel like the WrestleMania is the culmination of a whole year. It felt like that for All in London this year. And just those seats, got to shout out my good brother from WrestleTalk, Sat E. Nyangi, who hooked me up with his connect, who hooked us up with those seats that were just amazing. Probably the best seats I've ever had for any stadium show. And I've been to 3 different WrestleManias in my lifetime. So I would say that's like the best stadium show I've ever been to, because I was in the 3rd row. I got to kind of see everything up close and personal, and just top to bottom, it just felt like an awesome show. Like from Mariah May and Timeless Toni Storm putting on one of the best women's matches I've seen on an AEW pay-per-view, to MJF and Will Ospreay that really just played very well to the whole entire stadium, and just Will Ospreay being a freaking folk hero in the UK, just to be a part of that. The Casino Gauntlet was one of the most fun experiences that I've ever experienced live. And I've been to a Royal Rumble. I've been to one of the best Royal Rumbles ever back in Philly in 2018, Rumble 2018, with Shinsuke Nakamura winning the men's Royal Rumble and the first ever women's Royal Rumble. And I thought that was one of like the most fun experiences I've ever been live to an event. But like the Casino Gauntlet is on par, if not better, than that, seeing it live and just not knowing the intervals in between. Because with the Royal Rumble, you kind of know it's every 90 seconds, every 2 minutes, regardless. Sometimes they switch it up year to year. But with the Casino Gauntlet, you don't know when that countdown clock is going to show up on the screen. So when it does, you're like, okay, what's next? And Nigel McGuinness, as a lifelong Ring of Honor fan, and I've been going to Ring of Honor events since I was like 18 years old in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. To see Nigel McGuinness for the first time in 13 years come out in front of those UK fans in the Casino Gauntlet, I will never forget that. That was just, I jumped out of my seat. And if I had the hops like a LeBron James, I would have jumped out the open top of Wembley Stadium, seeing Nigel come out, Ricochet coming out, just all the people. Like, it was kind of like a Ring of Honor celebration, because you had Mark Briscoe, you had Roderick Strong. I'm a huge into New Japan Pro Wrestling. It had Zack Sabre Jr. in there as well, Kazuchika Okada. So that was just so much fun to be a part of live. And Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland is right now like 1A, 1B for match of the year for me because the storytelling was otherworldly. It was just sensational to watch live with Brian and his family being right behind them and like Swerve stomping on Brian as he's bleeding. And literally, I've been telling everybody all week, Birdie was crying for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of that matchup. That poor little girl did not know that this is all planned ahead of time. They did not tell that little girl because they consoled her. You had friend of Bree consoling her. You had Bree consoling her. But at the same time, she's enjoying the moment because she's like, oh, she doesn't know. This is going to end well. And Buddy Danielson just being a full-on, it felt like I was watching myself at like 4 or 5 years old being into professional wrestling. He's banging on the barricade. He's cheering his dad on. They're doing the yes chants when he's rallying up, hoking up against Swerve, and he's telling them, I love you. Just an awesome, an incredible experience. One of the best, I'd say it's the best match that I've ever seen live because the level of storytelling, the in-ring action, Swerve being just a spectacular performer and just this evil antagonist that yet and still is one of the most popular stars in professional wrestling today. It's nothing like it. It was an amazing experience being there live in Wembley Stadium.
Oh, man. I wish I'd have gone. I feel bad now. You just made me feel even worse that I missed it. Thanks, SP. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I'm happy for you. What a great experience that sounded like it was. Well, you highlighted some of the matches in there. I want to go back to the Casino Gauntlet match and kind of tie it in a little bit with Bryan Danielson because you saw my tweet where I kind of hinted at something that I wanted to bring up, and I want to get your thoughts on this. And you're a Ring of Honor guy, so you might go along with me on this one. I've interviewed Nigel, and I've gone to 2 of his magic shows that he's done. And both times that I've been there, number one, when he does that show, I don't want to give much away because you got to go see it if you haven't seen it. But he bangs on Bryan Danielson that whole time. He does. He rips him apart and talks about, the stories about, how he revealed an injury and Bryan didn't, and how that changed the trajectory of their lives. And, it's just, there's the whole story with Bryan is so deep now, especially, you hear the commentary that he's just tearing him apart. And at the same time, he loves Christian, right? He loves him.
He does.
He loves Christian Cage. The guy that decked him in the Casino Gauntlet match. We've heard rumors about, they want to maybe give the world championship to Darby Allin. I don't think they should do it. And here's my thought. We've got a big show for World's End coming up at the end of the year, and they're going against the WWE house show. How awesome would this be to have Nigel against Bryan Danielson at World's End? With all the history behind them. And if you don't know that, they had these massive matches in Ring of Honor where Nigel just could not win the world championship off of Bryan, including an Iron Man match. And seeing the shape that Nigel was in, by the way, he looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I say Iron Man match between the 2 of them at World's End. And Nigel wins. And then Christian, his buddy, the man he loves so much, cashes in on him with that Casino Gauntlet title shot and spoils the whole thing, setting up a feud between the 2 of them at World's End. I think that would be a full circle moment for the 2 of them. And honestly, I think they've been setting something like this up because I was trying to figure out, well, why did Christian win this? Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the reason. So what do you think about that possibility, SP?
I mean, that would be very interesting, and I'm not gonna shoot down anything that involves another Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness matchup. I've had the privilege of seeing them live in the Hammerstein Ballroom go at it in the past. I've watched all their matches in Ring of Honor when Bryan was the champion and when Nigel was the champion. So I don't mind that at all. Me, myself, my preference is that you got to do that matchup in the UK, in London. Like, I don't know if you want to wait 2 years for All In 2026, but I feel like maybe that is the place in Wembley Stadium where you can probably get maybe an extra 10,000 people and make it 60,000 in Wembley Stadium in 2 years for Brian and Nigel going at it. Or if you want to do it next year in the UK for Forbidden Door. I just had that inkling in my heart that that's the best place to have it. But like I said, I'm not going to deny having it at World's End, especially when you're competing with WWE, doing a house show just around the corner from you. You're going to need big matches. And I'm also not going to deny Christian Cage becoming the AEW World Champion, because Christian Cage, I don't know if you know this, but he is my father. He's all of our fathers.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, really? Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. You know, I'm pretty proud to call him my father. But he's everyone's father, so it's okay. He has a lot of kids. But Christian Cage is also one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I was always more of a Christian guy than I was an Edge guy. Edge and Christian is like my favorite tag team of all time. Like, that was the first like heel tag team that I ever liked when I was a kid, when I was like 11, 12 years old, and they're doing the 5-second poses. I remember doing it in the back of my class in like 6th, 7th grade, doing the 5-second pose as the teacher turns around and writes on the chalkboard, and then sitting down before they turn around. So I've been in love with Christian Cage. I've enjoyed his run so much in AEW, because there's not a lot of bona fide heels that are not cool heels that just get heat as much as possible, go for the low hanging fruit, but it does it in a very effective way that sometimes, you know, someone like MJF, who I think is also an excellent heel, I don't always think that his low hanging fruit gets him the type of heat that he's looking for, whereas Christian always hits the mark on that. So I think that Christian will eventually cash in this contract and become the AEW World Champion on Bryan and send Bryan off and end his full-time run. But I think it might come earlier. I think it will. I think that they are setting it up with the reports being out there that Darby Allin strongly being talked about to be the person to beat Bryan Danielson coming up at Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe Stadium. I think that is all a setup for Christian to come in, swoop in, and he's going to beat either Bryan or insert himself and make it a triple threat to beat both Bryan and Darby to become the AEW World Champion there. And then it sets up at WrestleDream, 1 year in the making from last year's WrestleDream, where it was Christian versus Darby for the TNT Championship in the main event. 1 year later, it's Christian versus Darby for the AEW World Championship, and Darby wins the AEW World title there, because I'm also a big Darby Allin fan. I've said it on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. I will say it to you. I think he's one of the best TV wrestlers I've ever seen. Someone who's always entertaining, that has this character, that always gets a big response from the fans. And then his TV matches are always top notch, whether he was TNT champion, whether it be this year with his matches with Hangman Adam Page, Konosuke Takeshita. He's a guy that I've been saying for about 2-3 years now needs to become the AEW World Champion. And I think that before the year is out, he's going to win that title.
Bold statement from SP3 from the True Heel Heat podcast. Man, I'll tell you, you know, this is going to be a fun year for AEW now that everybody's off the injured list. Just about, we're close. It's going to be wild. I can't wait. And we'll talk more about that and everything else going on in pro wrestling when we return. We're going to take a little bit of a break. But I do have to mention real quick, our buddies over at TravelShark.com, SP3's doing some traveling, and so is everybody else, wrestlers and, you know, fans. And we'd certainly like to save you some money. You know, you like to get those unbelievable deals, like when you go on Priceline and some of the other spots and you get those mystery deals. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. And guess, just go to the TravelShark.com/Hoke show and you can get unbelievable hotel rates. So check that out. Go to the TravelShark.com/Hoke show. I need you to do that, or you can go on MarkHokeShow.com and click on the website right now, link on the website, and you can take advantage of those unbelievable hotel deals, especially for WrestleMania here in Las Vegas. You're going to need it. Trust me. So do it now. All right, everybody, we're going to take that break. Stick around. We've got a whole lot more coming up with SP3. And I'm just so happy to have you on, brother. It's going to be more of a terrific hour. So thank you for joining us. Stick around, everybody. More on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here in Las Vegas. We'll be right back.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1, and literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's keep this party rolling. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, on the Odyssey app and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Very happy to have all of you join us. And by the way, if you're in the chat box, love to hear your comments. If you want to tell SP3 how awesome he is, feel free to do so. He'll, pay him, whatever. It's all good. He'll take it. Very happy to have him join us on the show. You can follow him at True, that's TRU, Heel SP3, and check out all the work he's doing. He's just everywhere, and he's amazing. So very happy to have him on the show. We had a bunch of returns at All In. Of course, Nigel McGuinness showed up. Ricochet's there. Jamie Hayter's back. Even the grizzled young veterans popped in the door. One name that did not was a Mr. Shane McMahon that everybody was kind of curious if he was going to pop in. But now we have this little thing with Moxley ditching the music, coming out, telling Tony Schiavone, this isn't your company anymore. He's got Marina Shafir. They're just beating people up, no Blackpool Combat Club, nothing like that. And the speculation is that Shane is behind this whole thing. SP3, are we actually going to see Shane McMahon in AEW?
I think we are. I'm not too sure if I connected the dots with this whole John Moxley story, but I definitely understand why people would think that, they do have history working together over on the SmackDown Live era, an underrated era for WWE. I don't know if I want to see John Moxley working with Shane McMahon in AEW. I think that is the main reason why I haven't connected those dots. But I'm very much intrigued by what John Moxley is saying with "This is not your company." I like him working with Marina Shafir, who I've watched Ring of Honor very regularly. I do the review over on Fightful's main channel with Kate. Shout outs to Kate from Fightful. And we've been seeing Marina Shafir, with squash victories and really improving her game. So I like that she's got the call up to the main AEW program and working with someone like John Moxley that can cut promos for her. So I'm interested, but I want to know if Mark, I know you're not used to this, but I'm going to put the question back on you. Do you think that Shane McMahon is behind all of this? And do you want to believe that Shane McMahon is behind all of it?
I'm about 50-50 on this. I see it was the first thing that went through my mind, to be honest with you. When he said that, it really did click that sounds mysterious enough that Shane McMahon would be showing up. And it's funny that guests that I've had on the show have been very torn about this, or whether they even want Shane McMahon involved in AEW at all. I think it would be a good move. It's just such an attraction for them, no matter what they do, to bring him in some role. And even if he was just doing stuff backstage and helping out, I think it would be a good influence for AEW. So I have no problem with Shane McMahon showing up. I think he's going to pop in at some point and people are going to go nuts. So I lean yes, but would it surprise me if it was? I mean, look, I don't think that you're going to have a secret meeting in an airport, supposedly a secret meeting, let a photo get out, and then nothing happens. Tony Khan doesn't do anything without a reason behind it. I guarantee you that photo does not get online unless he wanted it there. So Shane is going to be around some way, somehow. Whether this is the vehicle to do it, I'm not sure, but it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's just an interest level in seeing just to have an era in wrestling where there are no current McMahons who are working with the company, unless you count Triple H, but he doesn't have the last name McMahon. There's nobody with the last name McMahon working in WWE, yet we can see Shane McMahon walk into AEW. I think that if you would have told me that 2-3 years ago, even a year ago, I would have said, nah, that's a bold-faced lie. That's not happening. Even after the whole allegations with what's going on with Vince McMahon. Like when the first allegations came out 2 years ago, I was like, it's not going to affect Vince. He's still not. He's still gonna keep pushing and keep being on TV and keep running the show. And then the more and more allegations came out, it was just like they had no choice but to basically ask him to resign. And I think that there is just a level of intrigue that AEW doesn't have right now that Shane McMahon could bring. There are a lot of people that have been weighed off of AEW because they are right now the number 2. They're number 2 to WWE. WWE is hotter than ever. They are the number 1 promotion in the world. Their on-screen product has gotten so much better with Triple H in control that they are just hot and there's no stopping them right now. Like they are just going up to the moon and they're going past the moon and through the moon, basically, with how successful they are. And they keep going from success to success to success. There's no way for AEW to catch them. But AEW, perception-wise, has been hurt by that because the interest level in them is basically like, oh, why should I watch AEW? Shane McMahon is a why. He is a reason to watch AEW because it's just like, I never thought I would see this. I never thought I would see. It's like Eric Bischoff coming on to Monday Night Raw and shaking hands with Vince
Exactly.
McMahon.
Yep.
It's that type of thing. If you see a Tony Khan shaking hands with Shane McMahon on AEW programming, it's that type of thing.
Yeah, and the one thing about Shane is, from everything that I've read behind the scenes, he was really upset at his dad for a lot of this stuff that was going on. He didn't like it. He didn't like the way the company was being run. And to have a chance to be involved in professional wrestling away from his father and to give it a shot without that shadow over him, I think he would really relish that. And I've always liked Shane. I think on screen he's been really good. I don't know about in the back sometimes. Sometimes people have said he's rubbed people the wrong way. But I have a feeling that being able to have a fresh start like that would be so invigorating for the guy that it would be a lot of fun. It really would. It's Jason Archuleta in the chat box, by the way, says, what if Shane shows up on AEW and says, I now own Ring of Honor?
Imagine that, and he gets to run Ring of Honor like he always wanted to run ECW under WWE. He was the one that wanted to put ECW on like internet streaming back in the mid 2000s when they were gonna bring back ECW. So yeah, I'm interested in all of that, but I feel like with this group with Moxley, I don't know if it fits too well. I think that Moxley should bring in like more like shooters, like Josh Barnett from Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Or if you want to have someone from WWE, an MVP who's been trying to dabble in Bloodsport, that would be something interesting. Bobby Lashley, who's a former MMA fighter.
There you go.
That would be more interesting to me. He brings in like shooters and former MMA fighters because you already got Marina Shafir. It just makes sense in that matter. Shane McMahon is just a home run match and fit with the new elite. With this new version of the elite who have basically got the power taken away from them by Tony Khan returning and him putting Christopher Daniels as his avatar, as an authority figure. They need to kind of take the power back after losing Blood and Guts. They bring in Shane McMahon. He is the Ric Flair back in 2001.
Man.
Who did they sell their shares of the company to? They sold it to Shane McMahon, and Shane McMahon is now a part of the elite as the authority figure for the elite to go along with the Young Bucks being tag team champions, Jack Perry being TNT champion, and Okada being the Continental champion.
This is why I love listening to SP3. Wherever he is on, whether it's Fightful or Sportskeeda or WrestleTalk, you're a devil. You really are, man. I'll tell you what. Just, it's unreal the stuff this guy comes up with. I love listening to him. So,
thank you.
Oh, man. Well, one story that broke this week, and I want to get your opinion on this because I am literally almost across the street from UFC, the headquarters over here. And WrestleVotes broke that story about the WWE Performance Center moving out here to Las Vegas, which would probably put it across the road from where I am right now. Fightful said no, it was more of a general statement in this meeting, but WrestleVotes is sticking by it. And I did talk to WrestleVotes. Hey, hi. I have a daughter too, but she's a little older. But
you want to say hi, Mark?
Hi, Mark. I'll go to the toilet.
Okay. Good luck.
My missus is outside the door, like.
I love doing live radio. It's fantastic. That was SP3's daughter, by the way. But I talked to WrestleVotes too, and they said they're sticking by their story. And I'll be honest with you, the whole thing makes sense to me to move not just the Performance Center, but the whole operation out here to Las Vegas. Put it with UFC, have TKO, have WWE and UFC in the same place. What do you think about this story?
I agree with you. It does make a whole lot of sense for TKO to have like Las Vegas be their hub, be their home for WWE Performance Center. UFC's got their training facility out there, and they run so many shows from out there. And the UFC Apex was a good kind of place for them to run like an NXT Premium Live event, like they did with Battleground. She's coming in once again. You can't come in with a phone. She says she's working. She's working along with me. But I think it would make sense for them to do their thing in Las Vegas. But the only problem I have is for the trainees. Like Orlando is much more affordable than Las Vegas. So that's the only obstacle I think they would have to overcome.
Fair enough. Yeah, and like I've said, there's a lot of open land right next to UFC and on the UFC complex too. So I think they're coming, but this is going to be an interesting story to follow as we roll forward with all of this and plus I think Dwayne wants him out here too. I think Dwayne wants him out here bad.
I could definitely see that, and they could get to like the point where they have 2 performance centers because they're, like I said, they're so hot right now. They're making money over money that they can have a performance center in Orlando, which is more beneficial to the trainees out there as well as the main roster talent that all pretty much moved to like the Florida area. There's like a little cul-de-sac in Florida that has a whole bunch of WWE superstars over there, but also you want for like the TKO and the branding with UFC for them to have a place in Las Vegas.
Yep. So another story I wanted to get your thoughts on too was Swerve Strickland signed that new contract, and this was pretty much a renewal. It wasn't. I mean, he was going to be under contract for a while, but WWE had apparently been reaching out to him. Swerve said on X that, hey, you want to see the text, and they are upset because they think that AEW overpaid, which then of course makes them have to pay more themselves for other people that they may want to bring in. Is this just sour grapes on the part of WWE that they know that the price of business is going up?
Like, people have to understand, WWE and AEW are 2 totally different businesses. AEW is privately owned by Tony Khan and the Khan family, so they're able to spend money more on talent than WWE may want to spend because WWE is a publicly traded company and they're all about maximizing their profits and their revenue. So I think if you are to believe the report, because I got myself in a lot of trouble with my tweet when I put it out there that I was like, hating on someone getting the bag is very unbecoming. And people were like, you believe Dave Meltzer? And I'm like, I mean, I believe the fact that this is not the first time that we've heard this about WWE. WWE had leaked the reports about Mercedes Moné making a whole bunch of money and making more than they offered to her. And they felt like that was an overpay. And now they did the same thing with Will Ospreay, where you have someone like Triple H who comes out in an interview and be like, oh, he's running from the grind. He's running from the grind because he chose to sign over there to work less dates. Like, this is what WWE does. So I do think that if you are to believe the report, it is more of sour grapes. But I don't think that them putting that out there or having a leak who said that to anybody and making it news is beneficial to them because it makes them look bad. It makes them look bad that they are not trying to pay what these wrestlers are worth. And I am always talent first. So I'm happy for everyone getting the bag because, like I said before, WWE is hotter than ever. Tony Khan is a billionaire, and he's gonna sign a huge money deal with WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, before the year is out. So these two companies are making more money than ever before. So I am all for every single wrestler making as much money as humanly possible. So I'm so happy for Swerve Strickland, who was viewed kind of as a developmental guy and a mid-card guy when he got called up to the main roster of WWE. And he is one of the big success stories of going from WWE to AEW, because there's been a bunch of guys like your Bryan Danielsons, your Adam Copelands, your John Moxleys, your Chris Jericho, who were WWE champions and main eventers who came over to AEW and were mainline stars that drew a lot of eyes to that company by making the jump. But there's also the people underneath who weren't stars in WWE, like the Swerve Strickland, who has become a star before our eyes in the last 2 years, whether it be his run in Swerve in Our Glory as AEW World Tag Team Champion, whether it be the feud with Hangman Adam Page that made him a main event star, and now what he's done this year with just becoming a mainstay and a main man that ended off a 4-month run as AEW World Champion with one of the best matches of the year and in company history against Bryan Danielson. Swerve Strickland deserves as much money as possible for as many years as possible. Someone like a Kevin Owens in WWE, whose contract is about to expire, he deserves as much money as humanly possible. He's one of the best stars that they have in that company, one of the best storytellers and characters, who's been busting his butt for as long as he has, for almost 10 years now in that company. He deserves to make as much money as possible. Someone like Stephanie Vaquer, who played AEW against WWE and made as much money as she could from WWE before signing with them. She deserves to make that bag. Julia, who could show up tonight at the NXT No Mercy, is able to leave Japan and become a bigger star in the United States. So I'm always happy for these people to make as much money, whether it be from WWE and AEW. I just want overall in wrestling, more wrestling fans to be like that. We need to stop being wrestling fans of 3 letters. Let's be wrestling fans of the performers who will put their bodies on the line and say, yes, they deserve as much money as these companies are going to pay.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I can't stand that tribalism that happens sometimes. It drives me crazy. It's just enjoy it. I mean, this is really, I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little kid, and that's, I think I first started watching wrestling when I was 12. I'm 54 now. So I've seen all of these eras from Hulkamania on up, and even a little bit before that. I cannot remember a time where the industry has been so healthy. There have been so many talented individuals, and everybody's doing very well. Everybody. From TNA and MLW, I think everybody is hitting the jackpot right now, and we couldn't be more blessed to be in a time of pro wrestling that we're in at the moment. It's just amazing. I mean, it was at the Arkansas Pine Bluffs band was doing Cody's theme at a football game. I mean, the cultural reach that pro wrestling has right now is ridiculous. So you know what? Let them get paid. Let everybody have a great time. And all of us just sit back and enjoy the show. Bash at Berlin last night and, TNA Emergence, other great cards we had there too. So wild stuff. And of course, we're on with SP3 from the True Heel Heat podcast. And we got to take one more break, SP3. I got to make sure that we mention our good friends at Off Grid Creations. They're going to be doing some shirts and all sorts of cool stuff for me, and they can take care of you guys too. I mean, if you need embroidery, shirts, supplies, the pens, towels, anything, you can check them out, and they will actually sit down and do a free brand development consultation with you. They're not just going to come in and do some crappy design and roll you out the door. I promise you, Mike and the team are going to take great care of you. Go to off-gridcreations.com and give them a call at 661-300-1115. 661-300-1115. Tell Mark Hoke sent you, and I promise you Mike's going to take great care of you wherever you are. You don't have to be in Las Vegas. Across the country, he's got your back. Off-Grid Creations is going to take fantastic care of you and make sure that everything you need for your business is going to be top-notch. Promise. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more to go. One more segment with SP3. Yeah. Having an awesome time, man. Happy to have him join us. And we will be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, and the Odyssey app. And of course, streaming out there on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thanks for joining us. More to come on the other side of the break.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this summer. Wash your vehicle at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Collect grass clippings and put them in the trash. And secure and pack out trash when recreating. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's do this one more time and wrap this thing up. Very happy to have you joining us on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We got SP3 along for the ride with us, having an awesome time. Yeah, there you go. Got to give him get that 3 ball up there. Well, tonight is NXT No Mercy. And SP3, I'm going to use you to settle a little beef because I had Ricky Chino, my good friend and a mutual friend of ours, on the show. And I asked Rick, should Joe Hendry win the NXT title tonight? He said no. I said yes. Should Joe Hendry walk out of there with the NXT belt? What do you think?
So if you put a gun to my head and made me choose who I think is going to win, I would say Ethan Page. But do I think your question is, do I think or do I believe Joe Hendry should become the NXT champion? And I do believe. I mean, we have not seen someone, especially outside of like the WWE, AEW bubble, as popular as Joe Hendry. People tend to forget because this run has kind of been going on for the past 2 months. But the reason why he was like the guy that everybody talked about from TNA that they wanted to see in WWE is because he got this great boost of popularity from all of his viral and online success with all of his creative songs that he's done. And the rivalry with Top Dollar, aka AJ Francis, is really the thing that put him over the top, because he came out with like 3 different songs for him, including a remix of Creed's classic, Can You Take Me Higher? Can You Please Get Fired? I mean, he's just so talented, so creative. Yes, Joe Hendry, if you're going to put the title on any guy from TNA in WWE, and it doesn't matter if it's the NXT Championship, North American Championship, any title, I do believe Joe Hendry deserves it.
This is going to be fascinating to see tonight. It really is. I would understand why you wouldn't do it, but I have been saying this for a while now. Somebody's got to really jump on Joe Hendry, and I know TNA claimed that they changed their plans because of him for the World Championship there. But man, I just go for it. It's one of those times where you got somebody that's that hot. You have a chance to boost up the profile of NXT even a little bit more. Joe Hendry is one of those guys that has permeated pop culture. I'd do it. I just do it. Sorry, Ethan. I love Ethan Page to death, but Joe Hendry should be the NXT champion tonight. Your thoughts on what happened yesterday at Bash at Berlin? I thought it was too much of a friendship thing with everybody getting along at the end of their matches, but otherwise was a pretty good show. What did you think of Bash in Berlin last night?
I thought it was a good show. I think that with WWE doing these international shows, because of how hot and ridiculously insane the crowds are, it elevates even a decent or solid show to a very good or great show. And I think that last night was a very good show, arguably one of the best B shows of the year for WWE, right up there right behind, I would think, France for Backlash. This show last night, and it featured one of my favorite WWE matches of the year. Gunther and Randy Orton was just an old school, pace well, 30-minute main event that felt like a struggle. I had never had doubt that Gunther was going to lose that matchup, but Randy Orton put on one of his best performances in years. It was an absolutely fantastic matchup. Gunther is the best wrestler in WWE today, arguably right up there with your Bryan Danielsons, your Will Ospreys for the best wrestler in the world today.
Wow.
And he proved that yet again with Randy Orton. Gunther, more people need to put respect on Gunther's name. I've been shooting in the Gunther gym since 2017, Mark. I was in Queens, New York at a Progress show in 2017, and Gunther was in the main event. And this was back when he was Walter, when he had the little jiggle, when his stomach was looking like my stomach a little bit, and he had the stomach on him, and he just chopped the taste out of Matt Riddle's mouth for a good 30-minute classic over there in Queens, New York in 2017 when he was the Progress Atlas champion. So I've been shooting in the Walter/Gunther gym for so long. I was so happy, so excited when I saw him debut at TakeOver Blackpool 5 years ago, and I've been riding along with him. This man has held championship gold in WWE for 75% of the time he's been there.
That's ridiculous.
He's a living legend before our eyes, and more people need to appreciate Gunther.
I love that guy too. I mean, the matches with Dragunov were some of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. And, I look forward to, I don't know who beats him. I don't know who you book to beat him. It's going to be tough. We've got about I can give about 30 seconds real fast on this question. Orton and Owens, do they go bad? What's going on with these two guys? They're soft, man.
I thought that Kevin Owens did a superb job of storytelling with playing with the fact that he could turn on Cody Rhodes, but he chose being a good person over success. I don't know how long that's going to last with him, but Randy Orton is the guy that needs to turn heel on Cody Rhodes and finally give Cody Rhodes a feud he could sink his teeth into, because I've been very down on Cody Rhodes' booking since becoming the undisputed WWE champion. Unless he's feuding with the Bloodline, it doesn't feel like he has the top program, because all of his programs could be described as, I'm a fighting champion and I respect my opponent. That was the story with AJ Styles at Backlash. That was the story with Logan Paul at King and Queen of the Ring. That was the story this week. But I need Randy Orton to turn heel.
Yeah, enough's enough. Where can everybody find you, brother?
At True Hill SP3, at True Hill Heat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'll be going live in about 10 minutes over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel to review and break down WWE Bash in Berlin. Fightful, I'm there every Thursday. Fightful Overbooked every Tuesday. Sportskeeda every Friday. And my written work is over at WrestleTalk.com. Thank you so much, Mark, for having me. And I'm going to hound you to make sure it's not the last time I'm on.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. SP3, everybody. And that is going to wrap it up for us here on the Mark Hoke Show. Make sure you follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. And of course, subscribe on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and markhokeshow.com for all information. Guys, we'll see you next week. Have a great day, Las Vegas. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Seems like